All right, man. How you guys doing? Good stuff, man. Good to see you guys. Welcome to TLC. Uh, all you friends and family, it's been a while, you guys. We miss you. We love you. Thank you guys for coming out. My name is Tony. If you guys don't remember that, pastor here at TLC. Love to see you guys. Loving the fact that we're all here. It's really like full house tonight, huh? Oh, today. My wife made fun of me because she says I always get the time of the day wrong. Like I always say night when it's not night. I don't know why. It's just my thing. Anyway, great. I got good word for you guys today, and then it's based on this series that we're in. It's called The Invite. It's called The Invite, right? We're in this series where, like we thought about it. We felt like, on Facebook we always see people say like, TFTI, thanks for inviting me. Like thanks for the invite. Because people doing something fun, something exciting. You're like, oh, thanks for the invite. How come I wasn't there? And so we thought, what? Jesus is doing something great, right? So, we want to invite you into that. And we want to invite you into what you can actually see if you would take the invitation and come into this relationship, into this encounter with Jesus Christ. And the invitation was many folds. We talked about the invitation to healing, invitation to maturity, invitation into the fruit of your work, right? And today I want to share with you guys, and for a lot of us, I think this is really going to be a deep message as we talk about the invitation to love. We talk about Jesus and love all the time and God and love today, but I really want you to invite you into this picture of God's love. Right? What does that actually look like? The invitation that Jesus offers to us as a church, as a body, as a community, into that love. Right? And I hope that today, as you guys are listening, as you meditate through it, as you guys see it, that you realize that this is to you. This is your invitation, that God speaks to us, to all of us sitting in this room tonight, or today. All right. Let's bow our heads. Let's get started. Father, I want to thank you so much, Lord. So much, Father, for the love and the grace that you give to us in your Son, Jesus Christ. And I just pray, that we encounter that today, that we understand it today, so that we will leave this place renewed, refreshed, captivated in what you have to say to us. And I ask, God, for your blessing over this word, the blessing over, God, your people. Lord, may it just stir our hearts and to remember how much, Lord, how desperately, how deeply you care and love for us. We praise you, pray all these things in your name. Amen. My windows are down and it's raining. Oh, my key windows. Oh, it's raining? Yeah. Somebody needs it. Somebody needs it. Yeah. Somebody needs it. Thank you, Jason. All right. I thought he's going to come up here and tell me my fly was down. I was so embarrassed for a second. I was like, oh my gosh. It's happened. That's why. It's happened. All right. So, man. All right. Oh yeah. We have a lot of labels for people, right? We have a lot of labels for people. We go around, we fill in the blank, and we have a category which we place people in: good, bad, rich, poor, clean, unclean, right? Holy, unholy, right? Scandalous, not so scandalous, right? And so we have all these labels for people, and it's so inundated into our mindset that we kind of accept our labels. Sometimes we take pride in some of these labels that people give to us, right? And the most baffling thing about Jesus is that he, by all title and all label, he's a religious teacher. He's a teacher of the Word of God. And yet, the crazy thing is, he really never pursued religious people. He didn't care very much for them. Not that he didn't care for them, but he didn't really engage with them as much. You would think that a man who speaks the Word of God, his best and his most devoted people that he would actually reach out to would be the people in the community, in the church, in the synagogues, in the temples. Those would be the ones that he's actually engaging with, and yet Jesus had nothing to do with them. He really spent very little time with the godly people or the religious people. As a matter of fact, it was the people who were most unlike Jesus that actually liked Jesus. the most, and he liked them back. The people that was very opposite of his title of a religious teacher were the ones who actually really gathered to him, connected with him, liked him, and he liked them back. It was the weirdest thing. You know why? It's because their whole entire life, their whole entire existence, they've been put onto a label. Good or bad, sinner, tax collector. And all those labels have connotations and inferences that comes with it. And yet Jesus, when they met this teacher, it was the craziest thing because this teacher said something about them, saw something about them that was different from the way everyone else has viewed them. He viewed them in such a different light, such a different way that it captivated them. It was refreshing to them. It mesmerized them. They were saying, tell us more. You see, because we live in a culture where it's easy to label. That person's good. He goes to church. That person's bad. They don't go to church. Right? That person, does this. That person does not do that. That person is ashamed. That person is an embarrassment. That person is disgusting. The person is whatever. So we have all these labels for people. We accept these labels sometimes. And we give these labels to people sometimes. And Jesus comes in, and the very people that you think that would really be attracted to him, the religious order he would be attracted to, he didn't really care for them much. What he cared for was what he drew towards him were people who were very unlike him, but ended up liking him a lot. And the reason why is this: he saw them in a different light. The way he labeled them, the way he spoke about them, the way he saw them, the way he viewed them was so different that it was refreshing, that it was new. The way he saw the world, the way he saw the people of the world, right? It was captivating. Today I'm going to share with you one of the incidences, one of the moments where Jesus kind of put all this together and taught this. Where he showed not only all these people in the crowd, he showed them exactly how God the Father sees people. Because they had a misconception of how God sees people. They had a misconception of how they saw people. They had a misconception of how they saw themselves. And so Jesus, taking the opportunity now, is going to say, I'm going to teach you exactly how God sees you. I'm going to teach you exactly how God views you. And I'm going to invite you into this love. That's what he's going to do. He's going to show them exactly the label that God gives to them and invites them into the Father's love. Right? So 3 things we're going to focus on today. It's a story. You guys know it pretty well. It's the sheep, the coin, and the son. Right? The story of the lost sheep, the lost coin, the lost son. Right? The prodigal son. And he uses this story to build to this climatic end, this ultimate picture. This is how the Father sees you. He uses these 3 stories to build this climatic moment that tells them, when you think of the Father, I want you to think of the Father like this, because this is how the Father sees you. Right? So we're going to start this story together. If you open to Luke chapter 15. Luke chapter 15. They were all gathered together, right? Tax collectors, sinners, Pharisees, they're all in the same room, okay? And Jesus, being smart, he used this opportunity to teach. He's the masterful teacher. You can see how awesome he is at teaching, okay? He's so good. Now check this out. Chapter 15, verse 1. Now the tax collectors and sinners, quotation marks, were all gathering around to hear him. This is crazy, right? Tax collectors, that's a label. Okay? There's a lot of inferences that came with the word tax collector. You are disloyal to your people. You are a con. You are a cheat. Tax collectors has this horrible reputation. So that label creates a whole entire cloud of connotation. Wait, can we go back? And then sinners, right? That's what people thought that, if I don't look like the religious order, if I don't look like the teachers, if I don't look like people go to the synagogue or the churches, I'm a sinner, I'm a heathen, I'm a pagan, right? I'm one of those. And the funny thing was what? They were the one that were all gathered to him. Jesus didn't send out flyers and say, I'm going to have this this outing tomorrow, come visit me, right? He was chilling and they all gathered to him. You know why? Because there was something about what he was saying that was captivating them. There was something about what he was going to say about them that just was so refreshing, so different, that they was like, yes, this is unlike anything I've ever heard before. Right? They gathered to him. Next thing, verse 2, it says, but the Pharisees and the teachers of the law muttered. Pharisees and teachers, those are another labels. If you're a Pharisee, there's a whole entire connotation with that. You are put together. You are smart. You are religious. You have everything well. You do everything perfectly. You are the ideal picture of holiness. You are the good ones. You're the good guys, right? Teaches the law. You're smart. And they uttered, this man welcomes sinners and eats with them. See, they have labels for these people that Jesus was with. They're labeling them. They're thinking, Jesus, you're chilling with the bad people. You're a religious teacher. Should you not be hanging out with us? Should you not be speaking to us? Should you not be talking to us? Should you not be trying to convince us of what you're trying to say? But you, Jesus, hangs out with the bad ones, the sinners. And Jesus says, everyone has a label. Everyone's labeling each other. Everyone's pointing fingers. And I guarantee it, I bet you all these people are thinking that God thinks of them the exact same way. Doesn't that sometimes how you feel? You sit in church and you feel like, so-and-so looks pretty holy. Or, I'm not like that person. I'm over here. I wonder if God's actually, judging me at this point. Good, bad, regretful, right? Mistake. Right? I wonder what God is thinking about me, because if I'm labeling people, it must be the exact same way that God is labeling me. Right? If I'm seeing someone as good and bad, as embarrassment or joy, as loyal or disloyal, then God must be seeing me the exact same way. And Jesus, thinking and knowing this, he says, I'm going to teach you a story. I'm going to tell you something, and I'm going to show you exactly how the Father sees you. I'm going to tell you a story, people, you sinners, tax collectors, you men, you women in this room, that's going to show you what the Father sees you as, how the Father actually sees you, and invites you into this love. Okay, so he begins verse 3. This is where he starts. This is the sheep. Okay, so a lot of guys in this gathering, a lot of men, right? And so Jesus is kind of very smart, so he reaches out to them because he kind of picks a universal topic that everyone knows about, and everyone's like, yeah, that's how you do it. I mean, if that was the case, that's how you should do it, And so the Pharisees, the tax collectors, the teachers of the law, the sinners, they all kind of nod as Jesus was telling the story. And Jesus, verse 3 says, then Jesus told them this parable. Suppose, think about it, right? Think about this, guys. Suppose one of you has 100 sheep and loses one of them. What do? Does he not? Isn't it obvious, right? Isn't it obvious that he leaves the 99 in open country and go after the lost sheep until he finds it? Right? Jesus is saying, isn't that what we do? Right? Because we don't have 100 sheep, so we don't understand, right? But to them, they were like, yeah, duh, obvious. You lose one, you gotta leave the 99. You gotta go find that one because that's money. Sheep is money. Sheep is commodity. Sheep is what we eat with, right? This is how we survive. If we lose one, we're screwed. So we're gonna leave the 99. We're gonna go for that one. That's obvious, right? The Pharisees were like, yeah, that's pretty obvious, right? Tax collectors, sinners, yeah, that's pretty obvious. This is something that they all agreed on. Okay? They all agreed on. Verse 5. And when he finds it, he joyfully puts it on his shoulders. Okay? A little extra there, but okay. Right? Verse 6. And goes home, and he calls his friends and neighbors together and says, rejoice with me. I have found my lost sheep. Again, a little more extra, right? It's just Jesus. They're laughing like, that's kind of cute, Jesus, right? I mean, I'm not sure we're going to throw a party. We found a sheep, but I get what you're saying, right? And so what Jesus is pointing, he's painting this picture. Remember, the whole climatic end is to kind of this big reveal that says, this is what the Father sees you as, right? And so he paints this picture first. He says, hey, when you lose something that's of value, that's of worth, that means something, don't you automatically have this kind of natural feeling, natural kind of desire in your heart to go after and not really worry about what you actually still have, right? Don't you have this like, I need to find that, right? It doesn't matter what I have now. I need to go find what I lost. There's a hunger for it. There's a desire. There's a need for it. You wouldn't neglect the 99. You wouldn't even think about them because you're looking for the lost thing, because there's this passion, there's this desire for you. Let me give you an example. Say, for example, my wife calls me. And she calls me and she said, hey, honey, I lost the engagement ring, right? And I'll be like, the one I sold my kidney for, right? And apparently my kidney is not that expensive, so she'll be like, Yes, but don't worry, babe, don't worry. I still got the phone. I'll be like, all right. Why does the phone matter? I lost my kidney, right? So we gotta go find that. We gotta go find it. Yeah, it's great that you still have all that. It's great. I'm glad. But what I'm worried about right now is that thing that you've lost. That's what I'm thinking about. That's what's captivating my heart. That's what's captivating my attention. That's what's keeping me thinking and wondering, right? I'm not even thinking about that you have your phone. Great, right? Have your phone. Cool. Doesn't matter, right? So Jesus begins to paint this picture, telling these guys, they're agreeing because they get it. They do sheep stuff. They get it. Like, okay, yeah. If we lost one, we got to go get that one, right? I mean, for us, probably we're like, it's cool. We still have 99. But for them, right, it meant something. We gotta go get it. This is no joke. We gotta go find it. This is big trouble. I'm gonna leave 99 in open country. That means just middle of everywhere and go all the way over here and to go find that sheep. Okay? And so the guys were like, yeah, okay. So what you're saying, Jesus, is there's something that you value, something that you love, something that you think that has high worth, and you lose it. You're willing to neglect the 99. Things that you don't have, the things that's still there, you're willing to neglect that to go look for that. Okay, I see that. All right, so Jesus goes on in verse 7. So he's just kind of he's giving breadcrumbs. He's kind of giving little breadcrumbs to these guys. Like, hey, look, verse 7. I tell you that in the same way there will be more rejoicing in heaven over one sinner who repents than over 99 righteous persons who do not need to repent. So the Pharisees were like, what? What are you trying to say? Right? And they're all confused because okay, what are you trying to say? And the sinners were like, huh? What are you saying? Is this a good thing? This is what? He's talking about people now? I thought he was talking about sheep, right? So they're all confused. And Jesus takes that moment. He's like, in their confusion, he adds on. He's like, okay, all right, ladies. Verse 11. All you ladies out there, Jesus continued. There was a man. Oh, no, just kidding. Or verse 8. Or suppose a woman, because he's talking to everybody here, has 10 silver coins and loses one. Does she not light a lamp, sweep the house, and search carefully until she finds it? 10 silver coins. All right, this is not like nickels and dimes, okay, guys? This is not quarters here. This 10 silver coins. This is the kind of it's like a jewelry that they used to have, right? And what they do is they put these 10 coins into a little head bracelet. I don't know, it's a head bracelet kind of thing, right? Basically, that's your dowry. That's your dowry. Right? That's you saying to the guy, hey, you want this? You gotta take this with it, right? That's what you're really saying. That's what I'm saying. So if you lose one of those, that's big problem. That's a big problem because every other ladies have 10, right? 10 is the thing. So if you have 9, you're like, oh, okay, well, I know that 10 is worth more than, so you're gonna I gotta go find it. Sad as it is, but back then, the identity and the value for a lady was to be married, right? It was something that she wanted. She wanted to have a family, to be able to grow and raise a family. That was what gave a woman her worth, her value, her heart, right? And so the idea of losing that is bad. And so and you can imagine all the fathers in the house would be like, yeah, you better go find that. That's my coin, right? I need to get rid of you, so I need you to find that coin, right? What do? So the lady would she'll turn on the lamp, she'll sweep, flip up the couches, everywhere until she finds the coin, right? She has to find it. And then what happens here? And then 9, and when she finds it, she calls her friends and neighbors together and says, again, a little extra, rejoice with me, I have found my lost coin, right? In the same way, I tell you, there is rejoicing in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. Again, Jesus, he's building here. He starts with saying, if something is of value, of worth, and you lose it, you neglect the one thing that you have and you go after the lost. And all of a sudden, Jesus adds on to it. He says, well, also remember this. There's something of value, of worth that you lose. What are you going to do? You're going to go to great lengths to find it. You're going to push every boundary you have to get it. You're not going to stop until you find it because that is of great value, great importance. You're willing to go the distance to get it. Right? So he picks this picture. He paints it. Right? And he says, in the same way, I tell you, there's rejoicing in the presence of the angels over one sinner who repents. So they're asking this question. Okay, so what's your point, Jesus? Because I'm in a room with a bunch of people that I don't kind of like. These are the Pharisees. They're judging me. And the Pharisees are thinking, here's these bunch of sinners. Why are they even in the same vicinity as me? All these people labeling each other, right? Thinking bad about each other, having these categories for each other. And Jesus comes in knowing this, and he says, he's building this story. He says, I'm going to tell you, get ready. All these labels you have for one another, I'm going to show you exactly how the Father sees you. You think the Father sees you the way these people see you? You think the Father sees you the way you see you? I'm going to show you how the Father actually sees you, because now I'm going to tell you about the Son, the lost Son. And you guys know the story. We talked about it many times. Right? And if you've been in church a long time, this is like a go-to story, right? This is the story. The story of the prodigal son. The story basically is this father has two kids, an older one and a younger one. The younger one, being entitled, probably millennial, right, gets all this desire to say, Dad, I want my share of the estate, which is probably 1/3 because the brother gets 2/3, right? I want the 1/3, but I know I'm going to get it only when you die. So here's the problem. You seem to be living way too long, right? I need it now. I kind of want it now. So I want you to go and do your thing, right? Sell the land, liquidate your estate, give me the cash. Give me the cash. This relationship that we have between me and you, Father, I mean, I'm here. I still call your son, or I'm still here, your creation, right? But the reality is there's no relationship. This disconnect. I don't want to actually be with you. I don't want to be with you anymore, Dad. I want to be away from the family. I want to get as far away from here as possible. So give me my stuff now. I kind of wish you were dead. If you were dead, I would have it right away. But since you're not dead, I'm just going to demand it. I'm going to demand it right now. And so you can imagine, right, the people in the audience, both groups, Pharisees, tax collectors, they're thinking, dude, this kid is a jerk. This is when you open your Bible to Leviticus, stone that fool, right? You're allowed to stone him, right? Back then it was like, Old Testament judgments. Just stone that fool. He doesn't deserve to live, telling his dad what to do, right? And the crazy thing is, Jesus adds on to the story and says, the Father does it, right? Check it out. Verse 11 to 12. Jesus continued, there was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, Father, give me my share of the estate. And so he divided his property between them. You understand, this is really crazy for the father, okay? Because this is, 1, he's receiving rejected love. 2, by liquidating your estate like that, he is basically making himself poor, right? Creating a bad reputation for himself in the community. He is giving up all of his value, all his system for this bratty child. He's doing it all for this bratty child. Why? Why? Right? So all the Pharisees and all that, why? Why would you even tell that story? Jesus, this is a dumb story, right? Why? The reality is this. The father realized something very important. My son may be in the same house as me. He may walk into his room and walk out of his room. He may do the chores or whatever, but he's not here. There is no relationship. There's no connection. There is nothing here. So the father takes a gamble. Maybe not a gamble. The father does something outrageous. He says, I'm going to win him back. But I'm going to win him back by letting him go. I'm going to win him back by letting him go. I'm going to lose him so that I may win him. Because the Father knows something. He knows something about the human heart. That eventually, you will feel disconnected. We were made always to connect with people. Eventually, you will feel disconnected. Because right now, it's already disconnect. There's a disconnect. There's a emotional disconnect that's here already. The son doesn't want to be here. He hates this place. There's a problem here. He's just been raised. He's been around the wrong people for too long. He hates this place. He wants everything. He wants to get it out. He wants to run as far away as possible. If I force him to stay in this location, I might have his body, but I don't have him. I may have his action, but I don't have him. So the father says, I'm going to liquidate everything, give it to him, so that I will win him back. And everyone in that room was like, you fool. You foolish father. What kind of dumb action is that? How foolish can you possibly be? No one loves their kid more than their reputation. You are risking your reputation. You're risking your estate. You're risking the years of accumulation of wealth. You're risking all of that over a kid who feels he's entitled to it, who's done nothing for it, you are a fool, father. This is a foolish father, right? But he chooses. The father was smart. He chooses to lose him in order to win him. And so what happens? Gives him the money. What happens? The son goes off, right? Goes off to a distant country, buys a house, buys a car, sleeps with a lot of people, does his thing, squanders it, loses everything, right? Goes bankrupt. And then, we don't know how long it took, maybe months, weeks, years. But then, there came a moment. Okay, listen, there came a moment. The son sat, and he realized something. I miss home. I miss home. I'm sitting here, I'm working for this man I can't even eat the pig's food. And I miss home. And I'm afraid. I'm wondering if home misses me. I'm wondering if my father actually misses me. Because I miss home. I miss the connection. I finally feel this disconnection. Right? And I miss home. So look at verse 13 and 19. This is what happens. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. And after he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in that whole country, and he began to be in need. And so he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country, who sent him into his field to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. And when he came to his senses, that's when he finally realized, I miss home. I'm such a fool. This disconnect, I finally feel it. He said, how many of my father's hired men have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against you, sinned against heaven against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired men. Right? And so can you imagine the son now? Okay? Can you imagine him? He thought he was so smart. He thought he was so smooth. He thought he was so good. He went off, took his father's money, lost everything. And then in the midst of this moment, he misses home. And he's questioning now. He's wondering if home misses him. He wonders if his father misses him. Because he, in his heart, feels what? He's giving himself some labels. I'm an embarrassment. I have caused shame to everyone. He must be disgusted by me. I mean, I know the father knows exactly where I am. The father wasn't like, I don't know where my kid is. The father probably knew because stories passed on. Say, hey, dude, I heard about your son. Let's not talk about the kid right now, right? You know what he just did over the last weekend at that so-and-so party? Whoa, right? Like all these stories. The father was taking it. The father was not like the father was oblivious to the son's location. He knew exactly what the son was. He knew exactly what the son was doing. Because the name gets passed on, the story gets passed on, and the son felt to himself, I must be an embarrassed. He must be disgusted by me. He must be disgusted by me. I am considered a heathen. There's no way that he would even think that I'm good. That's why I'll have a plan. I need to eat, so I need to go back, and I'll just tell him, I'll just work for you. I'll work for you. All right? And then, okay, you can imagine Jesus' audience, people like us, like you. You sit here, and I'm pretty sure you think something very similar. You sit here and you say, I'm kind of far from God. I feel a little disconnected from Him. I mean, I see all these people. I know, like this. I guess this is what Christians are supposed to do. What good, godly people are supposed to look like. Sometimes I see them as hypocrites. I mean, is there something I miss Him. I feel like there's something I'm missing. But I'm wondering, knowing who I am, does He miss me? I mean, does He know what I'm doing? Does he see me as an embarrassment? Does He see me as a heathen, as a pagan? Does He see me as someone who is unworthy? Does He see me as someone that's disgusting, as as a person of shame? Does He see me like that? And you're putting these labels about yourself, what you think He's thinking about you. And you can imagine the audience were thinking that same thing. They were like, the father doesn't miss him. The father's probably disgusted by this fool. The father doesn't miss him. The father's probably ashamed of him. And the Pharisees and tax collectors are like, yeah, the father can't possibly miss him. The father can't possibly care for him. He must be disgusted by him. And I'm a sinner, right? I know that. And I'm pretty sure, I'm actually almost guaranteeing that you guys have the same thought in your mind sometimes. Probably even right now. That you label these things in your head and you're wondering to yourself, does he actually miss me? Because you know what? I actually kind of miss him. Right? And so what happens? Verse 20. And this is, remember, he's building it up. Jesus is building it up. He tells a story of a sheep, of a coin. He's setting the stage. Now he's talking about the son. He's coming to this moment. And they're thinking to themselves, what's going to happen? What is the father going to do? He's going to kill him? Is that Jesus' end story? Kill the son? Retribution? That's the way it's going to go? Right? They don't know what's going to end. But Jesus is saying the whole point of this is I'm going to tell you exactly how the Father labels you, right? How the Father sees you. Because I know exactly how you think you see you. I know exactly how you think the Father thinks he sees you. So you think the Father thinks he sees you, right? Right? But let me tell you exactly how the Father does it. Look at verse 20. And so the son got up, went to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with anger, disgust, embarrassment. What did he say? What did Jesus say? He says, filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around this pig-covered kid, right? Pig feces smelling covered kid, and kissed him. The son said to him, Father, I have sinned against, he has his whole speech, it's kind of cute, right? Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I'm no longer worthy to be called your son. Verse 22, but the father said to his servant, quick, bring the best robe and put it on him. Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. Bring the fattened calf and kill it. Let's have a feast and celebrate. Here it is. You guys ready? For the son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. So they began to celebrate. Do you know how the Father labels you? You know how the Father sees you? He does not see good and bad. He does not see shame or guilt. He does not see disgust. He does not see disgusting, right? Right? Disgust. He does not see disloyalty. You know what he sees? A son, a daughter that's disconnected or connected. That has a relationship or doesn't have a relationship. That's how he sees us. He does not label you as good or bad. And when the question comes, does he miss me? The answer is yes. I wonder if he misses me. Yes. Because he does not look at you as good, bad, embarrassment, disgust. I'm disgusted by you. He looks at you and he says, you were once lost, but now you are found. And so you can imagine the audience, what the, right? Compassion? Jesus, did you fall asleep in the middle of your story, right? Did you forget the beginning part of it where the son wished his father was dead? Did you forget that? Did you forget that the son acted like the most entitled kid that deserves to be punished? Did you forget that? And Jesus said, I didn't forget it. You see, you don't know anything. You understand the idea of a sheep being lost and that you're willing to neglect everything that you know to go find that sheep? You're willing to neglect what you have. You have this desire and this hunger and this want to go look for that lost sheep. And do you think that the Father would look upon his people, upon his creation, with anything less? You worry about a coin, a piece of metal? You will go to great lengths to go find that piece of metal? Do you not understand that the Father, when he looks upon his creation, will go to the same great, even greater length for him? And so when you come at this picture where you're labeling yourself or you're labeling others as good, bad, wrong, right, cleansed, uncleansed, right? What you're really saying is this, okay? You're labeling, you're categorizing people, and Jesus is saying, I don't label people that way. The way I see people, the way I've created, the reason why I sent my son was because there were those who were disconnected, and I'm going to connect them back to me. There were those who were lost, and I'm going to find them. That's all I see you as. You, in your heart, in your moment, will come a time when you will feel disconnected and you will ask the question, does he miss me? Can I come home? Am I worthy to come home? What do I need to do now to prove myself that I can come home? And Jesus is saying, the Father misses you. He misses you. And he's waiting for you to come home. Because it's not about good and bad. It's about connection and disconnection. It's about relationship. The Father is saying, you lost this relationship with me. I want it back with you. Of course, if you're coming home, I want this relationship. See, Jesus didn't see people the way that we see people. The Father doesn't see people the way that we see people. He sees people as dead, alive, lost, now found, disconnected, connected. When he thinks about you, he misses you. When he worries, when he thinks about you, do you know what? He's not worried about all the ones he has in the church. He's not worried about all the ones who are preaching the gospel or in their pews. He's not worried about them. His heartbeat, his cry is like, I'm missing that one. I am missing that one. I'm not too worried about the one I have. He's in a good place. She's in a good place. I am concerned. I am worried. All my thoughts, all my emotions, all my feelings is going towards finding that lost one. He's thinking, I'm going to go to whatever length possible to bring that person home. Whatever is necessary to bring them home. That is the Father's thoughts of you. He does not label you good, bad. He does not get, right? And he does not label you, right? He does not label you as a shame, disappointment, and embarrassment. He labels you as lost, now found, disconnected, now connected. Right? That's how the Father sees you. That's how you have to remember that he sees you. When you sit in there and you ask the question, man, I feel so far, whatever that means from God. I feel so disconnected. I don't know if God's really around. When you have that feeling, like I kind of miss those days when I was close. Right? We have those times. I kind of miss those days when we did those things together. I kind of miss those days when there was passion, there was emotion, there was a drive for that. And I wonder, now that I'm here where I'm at, I wonder if he still misses me. I wonder after all the things I've done that he actually still misses me. I wonder after all the things I've squandered that he still misses me. And the answer is yes. Yes. He let you go so that he can win you. He let you go so that you will come to this moment and say, can I come home? And the answer is yes. It's not about good and bad. It's about restoring what was lost. It's about finding what was lost. And it's going to whatever length possible. How do I know that? I mean, it sounds nice. It sounds very spiritual. How do I know? How do I know that this is the Father's heart? How do I know that this is the desire that he actually misses me? Right? So let's finish the story, okay? Because there's one more brother. There's an older brother. And Jesus is going to create this kind of duality of what a bad brother looks like, right? So this brother who basically lived with the father, did everything the father wanted, did everything, and he was pissed off because he came home from work and he found out there was a party. For what? For who? For the kid that slept around with prostitutes. And the father was like, and the older brother was like, what the heck? I was here with you all the time. I did all the things you asked me to do. I was obedient. I was good. And then you wouldn't even throw me a party. This homie comes home, messes everything, loses half your wealth, and then what happens? You throw him a party? No way. And the father says what? He was lost. He's found. It's not about good and bad. He was lost. Now he's found. That's all we worry about. Look at verse 25. Meanwhile, the older son was in the field, and when he came near the house, he heard the music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him, what was going on? Your brother has come, he replied, and your father has killed the fattened calf because he He has him back safe and sound. The older brother became angry and refused to go in. And so his father went out and pleaded with him. But he answered his father, look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders, yet you never gave me even a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours who has squandered your property with prostitutes comes home, you kill the fattened calf for him? My son, the father said, you are always with me. You've always been mine. Everything I have is yours already. But we have to celebrate and be glad because this brother of yours was dead and is alive again. He was lost and he was found. This brother demanded something he said, I want my right. I've done all these things. I want my right. I don't care about my brother. I don't need him. You should give me what I deserve. Right? And this was a contrast. Contrast to what? To the picture to show you, now and forever, how much the Father actually misses you because he sent the true and older brother to you. He sent the true and older brother to you, Jesus Christ. His Father, I will go to whatever distant country and I will find him. And I will find her. And I will pay whatever cost that needs to pay. And I will remind them that they are missed, they are loved, they are welcomed home. I will do it. And so Jesus Christ leaves heaven, goes to a distant country of earth, and he says, hey, the labels that you have for yourself, the thoughts that you feel, right? No, he misses you. No, he loves you. No, you are not forgotten. Yes, come home. I can't come home, brother. I have a debt that I cannot pay. It's going to cost me my life. Let me pay for you. Because I need you to know that you can come home. I will do it to make sure that you know that you can come home. And that's what Jesus did. That is the proof of the Father to you. When you sit there and you question, when you sit there and you label yourself in your mind, does he really love me? Am I really worth it? Can I actually really return? Does he actually miss me? Do I need to prove anything to him? The answer is, I have given you your true brother. He will pay whatever cost is necessary. He will do whatever is needed to bring you home. He has come to remind you that I love you and I miss you, that you are always welcome home. He's going to pay that price for you. So come home. Come home. So when we look to the table today, communion table, when we see the broken bread, when we see the juice, right, we're reminded of two things. Reminded that the Father has sent the Son to tell us, yeah, man, those labels of good, bad that you think you have for yourself, for others, that's not the label I have for people. That's not the way I see people. I see them as disconnected and connected. Lost, I'm going to bring them home. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to send my Son to tell you, right, to die for you, right, to pay that cost for you so you can come home. Right? I miss him, God. Right? I miss you, God. Right? And God says what? You come home. I miss you too. Right? Let's pray. As we come before God in response to the word, there's an invitation. It's an invitation to his love. Right? Maybe for some of you guys, you sit there and you're wondering to yourself, can I really be loved? Right? I mean, I'm not bad, but I'm not great either. I'm not labeled as, holy, but I'm not, that bad when I can be labeled as heathen either. Like, do I need to prove myself? Is there something I need to do? Those are the labels that you have for yourself. Those are the labels that you think about yourself. Those are the labels that you give to others. This is the invitation. God misses you. And he wants to restore relationship with you. That's it. He wants his people back. He wants to reconnect those who have been disconnected. He wants you. And so as you hear his wooing in your heart, as you're reminded and you're thinking, is it possible? He says, come home. It is possible. I've made it possible. I've sent my son to ensure the pathway home. And so let's come. And let's just pray that. Lord, stir my heart and bring me home. Let me accept you once, maybe for the first time, as my Father. Let me see you now in the truer light, the real light that I've never actually really seen you before, but to actually see you now, that you're not vindictive and that you don't label me like everyone else labels me, that even I label myself, but you see me as lost. And I feel lost. Now I'm home. So let's come. Let's respond to the Father. Let's pray. Let's seek Him. He will go through such great lengths for me. That He will neglect, not worry about what He has, but seek with all His heart and passion for what He does not have. Me. So let's come. Let's pray. Let's seek Him. Let's